我学汉语. Today we're going to talk about using and not using Chinese dictionaries. There are two types of dictionaries you can use. There's the Chinese English dictionary, Han-Ying, and the English Chinese dictionary, Ying-Han. I actually encourage you to use a Chinese English dictionary to look up Chinese characters, to look up Chinese words, to understand meaning, nuances, etc. That's fine. However, we do not want to use an English-Chinese dictionary for a couple of reasons. One reason is that if you, for example, look up the word play in an English-Chinese dictionary, you're going to get literally 50 different definitions of the word. The word play in English has some 50 different meanings, and as a result, you're going to get all of these different definitions in Chinese. How do you know which one to use? You can't, which means you're going to end up using the word incorrectly. The other problem is that when you look up an English word because you want to write something, you look at it, you use it once, and then you forget it. So you're not actually internalizing this word. And the third problem is that when we're writing Chinese, what we really want to do is push ourselves to say what we want to say using the Chinese we know. That's how our Chinese grows. That's how we expand our Chinese, by forcing ourselves to figure out a way to say what we want to say. And I'll give you an example. You don't know the word for thirsty, but you're in the middle of the desert and you meet a man on a camel. You're going to be able to express yourself. My throat's really dry. I really need something to drink. I haven't had any water in a long time. So you don't need the word thirsty. So we don't want to look up a word like thirsty. We want to figure out a way to express that using the Chinese we know. Now, when you do use a dictionary to look up a Chinese word, let's say you come upon this word, 同意. So you want to find out what that means. And you go and you look it up and you find out it means to agree. That's the first step, but there's another step. You have to look and see how the word is used, because the way a word is used in Chinese is not necessarily the same way that it is used in English. For example, in English we say, I agree with you. The Chinese translation of that would be, 我跟你同意. The problem is that's not correct. In fact, that's grammatically incorrect. The Chinese don't say 我跟你同意. So as a result, when you do look up a Chinese word, because you found it in a reading, you have to look at the examples. You have to look at the samples and see how it's used, so that you don't turn around and use it in the wrong way. So Chinese English dictionary, great for looking up characters you don't know, words you don't know. English Chinese dictionary, almost never use one. How do we look up characters? Well, we look up characters in a couple of different ways. Originally, dictionaries were organized by radical, and some still are. But for the most part now, dictionaries are organized by pinyin. So if you know the pinyin of a character, you can go directly to the pinyin, it's alphabetical, and find the character. If you don't know the pinyin, then you may have to use another way. One way is by finding the radical. You look at the character, you recognize the radical, and you go into the radical index of the dictionary, and you find that character. Let's say you don't know the pinyin or the radical, you can also use stroke count. You count the number of strokes in the character, you go to the stroke count index, you find the character. With electronic dictionaries now, both online and on handheld devices like your smartphone, you can also look up characters by handwriting them. This is very convenient. So a couple different ways to look up characters now.